Pleasure on behalf of Navi Mumbai Branch of WIRC of ICI. I extend a warm welcome to our Chairman of Branch, C. Nilesh Bajaj, today's guest speaker, Central Council Member, C. Preeti Shavla Ma'am, our branch nominee and regional council member C.A. Sanjay Nikam ji, and today's speaker Rama ma'am, also all the participants today's webinar. In today's rapidly evolving economic landscape, the role of registered valuers has become increasingly critical. With the demand for accurate and reliable valuation services on the rise, there has never been a better time to explore the venues available for women chartered accountants to step into this prestigious domain. As we delve deeper into the discussion today, we will explore not only the scope of becoming a registered valuer, but also the unique advantages and opportunity that this profession offers to women chartered accountants. We will hear from esteemed speaker C. Rama ma'am, who have carved a niche for herself in the field of breaking barriers and inspiring others along the way. To all the women chartered accountants joining us, I urge you to embrace this webinar as a platform for learning, networking, and empowerment. Your journey towards becoming a registered valuer may present challenges, but it is also filled with boundless opportunities for growth, success, and making a meaningful impact in this financial sector. We have our dynamic chairman, C. Nilesh Bajaj. I invite you, sir, for the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to our Central Council member, Preeti ji, and RCM and branch nominee, Sanjay Nikam, sir. Today's esteemed speaker, and now I can say she is a very good friend of mine, Rama ma'am, Poonam ji, managing committee member, and all other participants. First of all, for everyone, we are celebrating International Women's Day. So from 8th of March, we have been continuously conducting one program after another under the initiation taken by our committee member Poonam ji. So wonderful experience everyone must have felt about the walkathon, and the last 2 days back we had a very wonderful session on balancing act, and we had an international speaker. And today we are having on 14th, Rama ma'am is going to have a good session on valuation. Again on 16th, we are having one more session. So I should appreciate the efforts taken by Poonam ji and other team members for this particular focus on women-centric programs. And it should not be treated as women-centric. It is a general thing which everyone should adopt for a professional growth. Preeti ji, I would like to just point out the theme for this year of ICAI Navi Mumbai branch. We have a theme of Anthavriddhi. So normally we grow slowly, we elevate ourselves and then accelerate in our professional journey. And everyone is in different stages of their life during this professional journey. Ultimately, they want such a development which is outside the rat race of progress. So we at various levels, and Navi Mumbai branch is giving support to our chartered accountants and for their professional growth as well as their personal growth. So with this concept and with this theme, we are arranging various seminars, and with the guidance of you and Sanjay Nikam sir, we will achieve this, and we hope this year will be a wonderful year and we will be recognized. Last year also we have been recognized by the WIRC as the best branch and best Vikasa. With your support, we expect to do the same again. Thank you for inviting me in this wonderful program.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chairman, sir. Now we have with us our support system and regional council member of Navi Mumbai Branch, CA Sanjay Nikam, sir. Sir, I invite you to share your valuable insight with all the participants. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Poonamji, our only woman member of the committee, but also the very active member of the committee. Poonamji, your activities we are observing, and this Women's Day celebration. With regard to that, I would like to tell you. Always I say this is not a Women's Day, or this is a Women's era. Actually, it is not limited to one day or 1 week or 1 month. Actually, these centuries of is belong to women, and we see the symbol of a strength of woman in front of us, Priti Savlaji. We learn from you. Many times you have visited us, many times you guided us. I've seen your performance in region also, and at ICAI level also. Priti Madam is guiding so many members, not only women, but you are symbol of success for all the members. So thank you, Priti Savla ma'am, for gracing this event also. As I said, this is Women Era, and we are symbolically celebrating this year, this era within 1 week. I'm audible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'd like to highlight the performance of Nilesh Bajaj. Sir, you have just taken a charge of the branch 1 month, not even 20 days back. Within that span of period of 20 days only, 3 weeks only, you have conducted so many seminars here, and with your unique idea of celebrating this Women's Week, you are, with the help of your committee members, you are engaging many activities here. Day before yesterday, we had one seminar, webinar. I correct myself, webinar. Even on 10th, when committee members were not here, still we had one walkathon. So we have the perpetual and individual leaders here available to conduct the activities of women. So that is the legacy our branch has created. And again, you explained the activities to be conducted by the branch just now. We'll come to the today's subject. You rightly pointed out, Poonam, you rightly pointed out, our branch is very active in probing the opportunities for the women, not only for women, other members also. But today it is specifically targeted to the women's, and we are taking benefit of that. As rightly said by you, that valuation is a upcoming area. Actually, in the current scenario where traditional practicing is, we are watching a sunset area at traditional practice, but we need to understand there are many other opportunities available, and our branch is pointing it out. Yesterday, day before yesterday, we had one another topic. Today we have a valuation topic. Next, I think on 16 also we have one activity. So valuation, Rama ma'am is a. I heard you many times, Rama ma'am, at WRC also, at CS Institute also. Your brand name in valuation right now, and your expertise and wisdom will be definitely will benefit our members here. I think that today's topic you have selected a need scope and opportunities for women chartered accountants. Definitely you have gone through the struggle of women, how to it is not easy for women to be successful in the current competitive era. So your personal expertise also and experience also will benefit all of us. So thank you very much for gracing the occasion and enlightening your intent to enlighten our members here. Congratulations to the Navi Mumbai branch for promoting our in-house faculties. Thank you very much for inviting me, and happy learning to all of you. Happy Women's Era to all the women for being a support system of the world. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, I would like to extend a heartfelt welcome to you, our chief guest, Preeti Savla ma'am, with her wealth of experience and expertise in this field. Her presence today adds tremendous value to our discussions. We are truly honored to have her among us, and we eagerly anticipate her insights and guidance. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Poonam, for your words. And the chairman of Navi Mumbai branch, each chairman with experience of vice chairman at the branch will come with lot of enthusiasm and will to do something and commitment to do best thing for the members and students. And what I have seen today also, Nilesh Bhai has just taken over as a chairman and is willing to do so much for the members, students at Navi Mumbai, and willing to do and ensure that once again the Navi Mumbai branch gets the award. So I wish you all the best, and I am sure with all your efforts and dedication, the things will really work out. And whatever support required from my side will always be there. Coming to Sanjay Bhai, being the being the chairman of the branch earlier, I recollect the year 2018 when he was chairman, and the branch has also got award that time. So I know the foundation of Navi Mumbai branch and every chairman as such, but at the regional level conference has also been conducted at that time, and doing well in WIRC. I wish you all the best for your all future endeavors. Um, I can see Rama madam and my dear old friend, and I whenever I see Rama madam, I just I remember about her journey from Chennai to China and then Mumbai, and the level of work-life balance and adaptivity. The adaptivity, what we can see, we can learn from her wherever you are, whatever you can contribute the best. And now also, managing work and coming out of it. So I really appreciate all your efforts and always available for the profession. So great contribution, Rama madam. Poonam also contributing a lot at branch level for the entire fraternity, and at very young age with a small daughter, and she is contributing, running in the morning and then coming at the office and the managing branch. So great contribution. I can see Sabha Bhagwat, who is from Navi Mumbai branch, the Durga Archana madam, who again a senior madam, senior professional, Chandani and Namita, all entire team of women's wing of Navi Mumbai branch, and all my dear beautiful, I can say intelligent and beautiful women members of Navi Mumbai branch. I think almost 8 years continuously I have Women's Day celebration. Even if I was a WRC chairperson, I had come on 8th March, what I recollect at Navi Mumbai branch for Women's Day celebration. So it's always gives me immense pleasure to be with amongst all of you. One thing I would at this juncture, see, we celebrate and we really feel happy that branch and all the managing committee members supports this celebration and doing of this program by women for women and all these initiatives. But at the end, what I feel, it has to be, in the mainstream. Women should be in the mainstream. If we see long ago, it is always a male oriented profession. And uh, on my experience, I can say that as a women, we have to prove ourselves to get the things done, and this is happening as always. And if we see not only for chartered accountant women but others also, the analysis has come yesterday. On only we were discussing that only 40 women at group CFO positions in listed companies, in NSE listed companies, only 40. So it's hardly less than 1% women are at leadership position. And at institute also, at present, if we see out of 4 lakh, there are 29.3% are women. That is about 1 lakh 20,000 women professionals are there. But how many are actually in profession and working? They are taking break for some or the other reasons, but then they are not coming back. And then also what happens, the technology has changed a lot in last couple of years, and they are not coming back because they have internal fear whether they'll be able to cope up or not. And at leader, so less than 50% are actually in the profession. And if we see at leadership position, less than 2 to 3% are there in actual leadership position. So this ratio is really a big question mark. But I am saying that at institute, for this Women International Women's Day, the request has come from more than 50 branches, and those all have actually organized the programs. So this is how the way we promote this. And even the Nari Shakti bill, which has come and implemented by Parliament, we do not want any reservation. We are institute level. We are what I feel we are. We should be, women should be on the basis of the capabilities. There are only 3 women on in the council, but then also slowly it may come more, but as such, without even there is a 33% reservation for Nari Shakti, but friends, even without reservation in institute there are about 30% women, and that is the best part of the institute. And friends, at present 42.9% are the girl students, and every attempt 44% girl students are passing CA. So day by day the ratio is increasing, and all the institute at the branch level, the all the support system is being developed so that the women are can do at their best. We have changed the name of committee, Women Members Empowerment Committee, to Women Members Excellence Committee, because we do not want any empowerment. It is the excellency which we can celebrate and which can do the best. There are a lot of opportunity from institute side also, such as becoming the examiner or doing the research or becoming the faculty or doing a support, becoming the faculty for GMCS or ITT or certificate courses. Such opportunity, huge opportunities are there. So I request all the women, and I request Nilesh ji, Sanjay ji, Poonam, and entire women committee to bring out these activities, reach out to all the members so that they can come out, and at least let us have one database. So the members in industry are also there. The women members in industry at the branch level are also there. Let us bring them and give them the opportunity to speak so that they can also share their views, and other women are motivated. And this is how we have also organized first time in the history of ICAI best the women member CA women awards. And this is how to motivate the members who are not doing anything by recognizing those leadership positions. So this can be, if we bring out these women at branch level, they can be in the mainstream, they can showcase their knowledge, and they can become the national faculty also. I am sure all these things will be done with very enthusiastic chairman and entire team. So I wish you all the best and successful tenure to chairman. And I'm sure with all the efforts what you are doing on this Women's Celebration Week also, more women will get motivated and will take that advantage to become the excellent professionals. I wish you all the best, and once again wish you a very happy Women's Celebration Week.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And ma'am, when one woman stands for herself, she stands for entire community. So you are setting an example for all the females and breaking the limiting beliefs of many females who thinks like it is difficult to do. But while we see you doing many things and managing multiple roles, and that somewhere breaks our limiting belief. Okay, we can also do this. So thank you, ma'am, for this. And as mentioned by you, that we should give opportunity to more members to become speaker. Recently, our youngest member Chandini, who cleared just I think 2 years back, she has been speaker on MSME 43 H section, and she has done wonderful. We are proud of her, and today she is going to introduce our today's speaker, Rama ma'am. Over to you, Chandni.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your recognition and support. A very good evening to everyone. Yes, ma'am.
Can you put on your camera, please?
Yes, Chandni.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. 1 second. A very good evening to everyone. So it gives me a great pleasure to introduce our remarkable individual who embodies the essence of expertise, dedication, and mentorship within our professional community, Rangayaki Rangachari ma'am, affectionately known as Rama ma'am. Rama ma'am's journey is not just a testament to her exceptional education and professional qualification, but a reflection of her unwavering commitment to continuous learning and growth. With a distinguished academic background, including a BCom from a University of Madras, she also holds professional degrees such as CA, CS, CMA. Other than that, she is a registered valuer, she is a registered insolvency professional, certified independent director from IICA. She has obtained certificate course on GST from our institute. She has attended leadership development program from IIM Ahmedabad, currently serving as a partner at Ritu Rangayaki and Company, Chartered Accountant situated in Navi Mumbai. Rama ma'am is specialized in the area of FEMA, GST, valuation, IP consultancy. Her expertise extends beyond the realm of practice, as she also holds esteemed position of independent director on the board of National Plastic Industries Limited. Moreover, she generously shares her knowledge and experience as a visiting faculty at ITM Kharghar and NMIMS Kharghar. Having vast and varied experience of more than 20 years of experience working India and China in diverse sector of retail, offshore, survey, shipping, private equity, and print media. Before setting up a practice, she worked in various corporate like Oswald Group, RPG, Food World, Elodom Group of companies, General Atlantic Partners, ILEX Media Group, and EGS Group. She has handled various senior level roles in the above organization and deals with various aspects of businesses, including including FIPB approval and various corporate compliances, business, sale, and HR. Besides corporate world, she also does mentoring for students pursuing professional courses, CS, CMA, CMA, and cost and management, accounting, and financial management courses for the various students of commerce. She conducts seminars and workshops on GST and tax compliances for corporate. She is a trainer in finance for non-finance professionals and independent and women directors. A regular speaker in our various professional forums, a startup mentor, and Rotarian, a mentor for startups and MSME, travel and stock market enthusiasts. In essence, Rangayaki Rangachari Rama ma'am is not just a speaker but a beacon of inspiration and mentorship and expertise. We are privileged to have her amongst us today, and I'm certain that her insight will enrich our gathering and ignite our collective driven for excellence. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Rama ma'am, our very own speaker and role model to everyone. Thank you so much, ma'am, for having being in this session, and over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chandni, for that wonderful introduction. You know, my mother should be here to listen to you today, you know.
Ma'am, I'll record one more time for you and send to you
So,
personally.
thank you very much, Navi Mumbai Branch, for giving me once again an opportunity. I would start by thanking Preeti ji, you know, who's given me several opportunities to speak. You know, when women support each other, they understand each other, that's when the growth starts. You know, I look at Poonam, I look at Sanjay ji for bringing up the branch to a greater level. I accept, you know, the presence and the support given by Nilesh ji and my entire core committee of Navi Mumbai Branch, you know, right from the youngest one to the senior most one. I would really like to thank here Meenakshi ma'am for her continuous support for all the women, for all the mentoring she's done to us all the time. You know, when I come out and speak, every time I say, ma'am, you have been encouraging us to speak. You know, she says knowledge is power. And that is what precisely we try to do at every point in time. You know, the rest is all will fall in place. Today's topic given to me for discussion is basically on valuation. This is one thing, you know, is going to be the future. Why only women chartered accountant? This is going to be the future because the kind of complexity in businesses arises, the lot of transaction which comes into place. This valuation is going to be the future, or it is already there. You know, when we look at Shark Tank, when you look at, you know, other programs, we can see. One second, is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
It's some issue. It's not getting shared. So when we look at valuation, again, you know, that's going to be a very important aspect of any business to be done. Because any matter for that matter, you know, business restructuring, share transfer, anything we talk about it, valuation, 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 this is what we have been repeatedly saying. And this profession was not institutionalized before, in the sense, there were various small organizations regulating the profession of valuation. We never had anything as an institutionalized profession. So what is basically valuation? It is a process of determining the present value of a company or an investment or an asset. When we talk about asset, it talks about land and building, plant and machinery, shares and securities. I can value the business as a whole. If there are complex hybrid instruments, that also needs to be valued. In case of even family disputes and things like that, you need valuation to, you know, ensure that the right share of contribution goes to each one of them. If we look at the history of valuation, predominantly when we talk about Vedic age and then, you know, the Mughal era and things like that, predominantly this valuation was done for land, which was basically a collection for the taxes for the government, you know, the various kingdoms. And so it was a source of revenue. For that, they used to do valuation. As the businesses grew, the need for valuation of businesses increased, especially post-independence. The businesses have been growing and the valuation has been coming into play a lot into this thing. Currently, the need for value of assets for various complex business decisions like your mergers, amalgamation, all these things required a lot of valuation. So what is precisely valuation is, there is a price in the market for an asset and there is a value which is to be determined by a valuer. The price in the market is called a dirty price because it is affected by a lot of other factors. A valuer is a person who he or she is going to determine the value of an asset. In a perfect market, on a competitively perfect market, your price of the asset determined by the valuer and the market price should converge. But it will not be the case in every circumstance. So that is where when the market inequalities are there, imperfections are there, the determining the true price of value of an asset comes into play. This is the terminology used by Ms. Dr. M.S. Sahu, who was a chairperson of IBBI when valuation came as a profession in this country. Valuation as an institutionalized profession came only by the Companies Act 2013 by section 247. We will just delve into that a little later from here. So who is a valuer? Is a person who estimates the worth of a value of an asset. The process of estimating the valuation and the worth of a so estimated is value. So the valuer is a person who finds out the value of an asset and the process is, the value which comes into is called a value and the process is called valuation. The value of an asset is what the price ought to be given. So when you say price, and value, they could be two different things. Price is what I'm willing to pay. Value is what is the valuation of an asset, what the true intrinsic value of an asset. So the entire process of valuation came in through by Section 247 of the Companies Act 2013, which brought in valuation as a profession, in an institutionalized fashion for the first time. So the Section 247 of the Companies Act says, where a valuation is required to be made in respect of any property, so we talk about land and building, plant and machinery, stocks, shares, debentures, or securities, or goodwill, or any other asset, or to determine even the net worth of a company or the liabilities of a company, under the provisions of this act, it says it has to be done by a professional called registered valuer, and those registered valuer will be, will be qualified to be a registered valuer. So there is a set of examination to be given. There is an RVO. We'll discuss about it a little later. So the entire gamut of Companies Act, if there is any valuation required under the Companies Act, then it can be done at this point in time only by a registered valuer who has got the qualifications and experience to do the valuation. The valuer is to be appointed by the audit committee. If the audit committee is not there, then it will be appointed by the board of directors of that company. So the entire valuation came in, though it was embedded in the Companies Act 2013, it was first introduced on 18th of October 2017. So we are talking about a profession which is just 5-6 years into life. It's a new profession, though the profession was already there in a form of institutional ways. In a way, it is regulated, and the way the opportunities are provided is there only from 18th October 2017. So we have a Section 247, and the rules have been declared under the Companies Act, the valuers rules and regulations. So by power given to the central government, this valuation rules have been given, and the valuation came in as a institutionalized profession in October 2017. So the registered valuer is a person who is recognized under the Companies Act, who has the necessary qualification, and the person is registered with the Registered Valuer Association, and the valuation could be on 3 different class of assets, which is land and building, plant and machinery, securities, and financial assets. So land and building is valued by your civil engineers who qualify the exam under registered valuer. Plant and machinery can be valued by a registered valuer who's got, a BE, a mechanical or other qualification. And the last class of asset, which is called securities or other financial assets, can be valued by a professional like you and me, chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary, or an MBA, if we qualify in the examination, which is to be conducted by IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. The exam is conducted by NISM. The course curriculum, the way how to register, we will discuss in a little later. If we qualify, registered ourselves as a member in IBBI, then we will be eligible to value the assets of securities and financial assets of a company. So what is the scope for registered valuer? I said entire valuation exercise under the Companies Act can be done only by a person qualified to be a RV under the Companies Act who has cleared the IBBI exam and registered with the RVO and maintains a certificate of practice. Similarly, any valuation which is required under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code can be done only by a registered valuer. That means you and me as a chartered accountant, if we are not a registered valuer, we cannot do any valuation under Companies Act. We cannot do any valuation under IBC today. Similarly, we will not be in a position to do valuation under REITs and InvITs under SEBI regulation. Apart from that, the business valuation to be done, again, Ind AS valuation. There are 2 schools of thought here. Ind AS is a part of, Accounting and Companies Act, and some schools thought says the valuation can be done only by a registered value. So another school of thought says, it's not under Companies Act not to be done, but generally you find Ind AS valuation done by a registered valuer. The scope of valuation under Ind AS is going to be far more greater than what it is today, because it talks about impairment testing. It talks about, fair value assessment for every year for the accounting purpose. And then the scope of valuation is going to be far more under Ind AS. So it's a huge area of opportunity available. Again, FEMA valuation currently can be done by a chartered accountant or a cost accountant or a merchant banker. But as we discuss a little later, there is a valuation bill pending in the parliament. Even the draft regulation which has come under FEMA says it is recognizing registered valuer. So over a period of time, it's just a matter of time, the entire gamut of valuation will go under the registered valuers carpet. So the area of practice, what we are talking about is huge FEMA valuation. Similarly, if the company wants to give ESOP, the valuation has to be done. Every 6 months, the valuation has to be taken, and there is a huge area of practice available. Again, under income tax, today, the valuation can be done by merchant banker or not required valuation in certain cases. But once you are a registered valuer, the opportunities in these areas are far and wide available to us. Forget about practicing as a registered valuer. Once you understand the concept of valuation, you will be able to do your audit much better. You will be able to approach your bank audits much better. Whether the valuation report given by your customer, does it make sense to you? Does it make any meaning to you? The purpose of, the entire discussion in the boardroom, or your discussion as an independent director on the boardroom or in an audit committee, or your role as a consultant consulting your startups, you're having a empowered knowledge which helps you to do your regular practice in a better fashion. So once I assume for a moment somebody says, I don't want to practice as an RV, but going through this subject, understanding this subject and understanding how valuation works makes you a better professional, and knowledge is power, and that takes you to have an upper edge over the other professional. Today, without enhancing our knowledge with just a traditional knowledge, it is next to impossible to practice. And there are multiple new avenues of practice available to you and me. And the early mover advantage will come if you understand the subject much earlier than the other professional. So what are the other scope? I just said in a strategic decision making, you want a pre-transaction value to be identified. In case of merger or amalgamation, swap ratio has to be done. In case of slum sale, your value has to be assigned to each and every asset, because in slum sale, a value is totally determined, and then you have to distribute it among the different assets. That needs to be done. When a buyback is to be done, in that such case also valuation is required. In case of restructuring, business combination, we have valuation to be done. Regulatory, Companies Act asks for valuation, FEMA asks for valuation, income tax asks for valuation, SEBI asks for valuation. Today, for a same set of transaction, we take 3 different reports or 2 different reports. For example, under FEMA, I have to take a report from a chartered accountant, cost accountant, or a merchant banker. Under Companies Act, I have to take a report only under a RV. And under income tax, again, a chartered accountant or inbuilt own valuation report or a merchant banker valuation report. So for one transaction, I'm looking at multiple valuation. Look at the scope of valuation. You and me as a practicing chartered accountant, if we crack that exam of RV and we practice as an RV, the entire portfolio of valuation is available to you. And again, under financial reporting, I said under Ind AS, fair assessment value, impairment testing, valuing a convertible instrument pricing, all these things require valuation. So valuation is going to play a huge role in the economic growth of this country. And as we look at, 5 trillion, 25 trillion economy, the requirement of valuation is going to increase day by day. So it is a huge area of opportunities available to us as individuals. When we look at company law, anything which is said prescribed in the act has to be looked at the rules. So under 247, a lot of things are prescribed. So I go back to the valuation rules of 2017. It defines what is a asset class. So there are talking about 3 different class of assets. So land and building is one class of asset, plant and machinery is another class of asset, and the third one is securities and financial assets, goodwill and other things, which are under the gamut of professionals like you and me. So if a person wants to become a registered valuer, the first process to be done is he or she has to register them with a RVO, Registered Valuers Organization. So ICAI has got a valuers organization, ICMI has got it, CS Institute has got it. There are other organizations like PVIA. There are several RVOs available. First, we have to register with them. And after passing that exam and enrolling ourselves with the it's a 2-layer registration. So first I become a member of a RVO. I'll just explain the process in a little later. Then I become take certain training. Then I give the exam. Once I clear the exam, then the RVO will recommend my name to the IBBI, and then I get the certificate of practice. That's how it works. It's a 2-layer registration. Who can practice as a registered valuer? An individual can have with a certificate of registration, or even a partnership firm, LLPs can be set up and they can be a registered valuer entity. So the entire gamut of, we can have it as an interactive section. If anybody has any questions, you can please feel free to stop and ask me the question. So who is eligible to be a registered valuer? The rule 3 says, valuer should be a member of a RVO. So we have to become a member of a ICAI RVO or other RVOs. There are several. Yeah.
ये सुन और अभी अब तुम्हारे जूस बनाऊंगी.
Then our name should be
जूस बना
recognized
के
by
लाती
the
हूँ तो
RVO. Then we should clear an exam. Before clearing an exam, there is a 50 hours training to be done with the RVO. Post the training, we have to give an exam. The process I'll give you in the next slides. And the person who is supposed to become a registered valuer should not be a minor, should not be of unsound mind, should not be an undischarged bankrupt. He should be a person resident in India. So if an NRI, then you can't practice as a registered valuer. The person should not have been convicted. He should not have been, she should not have been levied penalty under Section 71J of Income Tax Act. The last but not the least is the person should be a fit and proper person. That means he should have integrity. They should have certain abide to the code of conduct. The person, if he is fit and proper person, then only they become a member of become a registered valuer. So what is the qualification and experience to become a registered valuer? So basically, for a land and building and BE civil is qualified, they should have 3 years of experience. Or for plant and machinery, again, and a BE mechanical could get with 3 years of experience. For SFA, securities and financial assets, the person could be a member of a professional institute, like if you are a CA, CMA, or a CS, with 3 years of experience, post-qualification experience, then we are eligible to register ourselves with as a registered valuer. If a person is a postgraduate, MCOM, or somebody who's got post-graduation in financial discipline, 3 years of experience, they could become a registered valuer, could become. Then if you are a graduate, then you need 5 years of experience to become a registered valuer. The qualifying education and experience and examination or training is given. So this is only the entry point. If I'm a CA with 3 years of experience, then I can register myself for, taking up that examination. So what is the process? First, I will register myself with a member with the RVO. So for example, I go to ICAI, register myself as a member. Then I have to undergo 50 hours of educational course with that RVO. So 50 hours of online or offline training, whatever is available or applicable, that 50 hours course training has to be taken. Then we have to prepare for the syllabus for each stream of valuation. So for land and building, the stream of syllabus is different. For plant and machinery, it is different. For us, SFA, the syllabus is different. The syllabus will have, your general laws, economic laws, your income tax laws, GST laws. Then what are the valuation concept, general economic concept. So the your valuation principles, everything has to be read. And the examination is conducted by NISM, National Securities Market. So they conduct the NISM exam. You have to, once you finish a 50 hours training, a certificate will be given by the RVO confirming that we have completed the training. With that certificate, we have to go to NISM site, register ourselves as as one of the participants for the exam, then book a slot. So the online slots are available. We have to book that slot for a particular day, particular time, go to the NISM center and give the examination. The examination is a 100 marks paper with 25 marks negative marking. So if a question is for 1 mark And if it's a wrong answer, there is 0.25 deduction. So it's a negative marking. The pass percentage for clearing that exam is 60%. So we have seen many people who have failed at 59, 58, 59 and a half, like a CA examination. But the advantage is you could reappear for that exam. The only advantage I had is when I wrote, there was no cooling period. So in fact, our the people who used to prepare us used to say, you book one morning slot, afternoon slot, next day morning slot. So if you fail in the morning, you go and give it in the afternoon, otherwise go in the next morning and give it. So you could give back to back till you get, there was no limits on number of times you appear. But now from last September, there was a cooling period of 2 months, which they have now reduced it to 21 days. So if I give a test this morning, I fail it, then I have to book the next slot after 21 days from today. So that is when I have to appear for it. So what I'm trying to say, the examination is becoming tougher and tougher. The rules are getting tougher and tougher. So the sooner we clear this exam is better for us. So if anybody, and this 50 hours of training will be really giving you a strength, not only in terms of writing and valuation exam, but otherwise me as a professional, approaching my audit, approaching my bank audits, approaching my startup advisory and things like that. So there'll be a wealth of knowledge. In fact, I would proudly say that after that 50 hours course, I was clueless. How am I going to give that exam? So I enrolled myself with an individual who was giving training from Indore. I took his, online, classes. I, strengthened myself with the knowledge, because we have all done our CA examination. For people like me 20 years ago or somebody 10 years ago, we have forgotten, or we don't have that grip on that subject, option valuation, economic laws, your General Contracts Act. All these things have to be re-prepared, and to top it up, it's a negative marking examination. So I cannot afford to give a wrong answer just by a fluke of luck. So I have to be very careful that if I know the answer, I'm supposed to tick, because it's an objective paper. So there are 4 options, you have to tick the right option. And there are case studies there. There are case laws there. So some of the case laws decided by the courts are to be read, and those case laws have to, questions come from those case laws. And there are some case studies given to you. So out of that 100 marks paper, almost 67 is on that laws. The rest is all case laws and case studies. But when you prepare for that exam, 50 hours of training, some RVOs will give you good training, some RVOs may not give you good training. But post that, if you put 150 hours of preparation from your side, especially if somebody who has not been a very apt person in a financial management, that you have not done it for a very long time, you put in that extra efforts of another 100, 150, 200 hours, it really strengthens you. I would say I become a better professor, or I could teach confidently after taking this valuation examination, because the entire subjects was revised for me, and the subject, the way we approach right now is very different from what we approach as a student. Some of those chapters we may not even used in our life in the last 20, 10, whatever number of years we have been practicing or working. So those subjects are seen in a very different perspective. Your understanding of financial management, your understanding of the entire valuation is in a different fashion altogether. So once you clear that exam, a certificate will be awarded. With that, I go back to my RVO and then complete the documentation. I have to give a form in application in Form A and give 5,000 rupees non-refundable fee. In case of an individual, it is in Form A. In case of a partnership entity, it is in Form B. And they will look into the application. If there are any deficiencies, we have to respond back. They will, and if there are no deficiencies, certificate will be granted within 16 days. If there are some deficiencies, it will be communicated to me. I have to remove those deficiencies, reply to that, and based on the answer what I give, the application will be approved or rejected within 30 days. I get my registered valuer certificate. Then I have to appear for one more training of 4 hours with the RVO, and then post that they issue me a certificate of practice. Once we have the certificate of practice, you can practice as a registered valuer. Just like our CA course, they have a continuing education program. Every year we have to maintain 16 hours of credit as a continuing education program. In a year, if you do 10, in a block of 3 years, if you are able to complete, then that is good enough. So CEP, the CEPs, whether we are a chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary, or a valuer or an IP, has to be done not in terms of just to complete the formality. When you go to that CEP hours, you understand the subject, what is latest in the subject, how others are approaching those subjects. So that is a wealth of knowledge for any professional. So CEPs are designed in a way so that we keep ourselves abreast with the latest development, failing which we would not be able to do our regular practice for that matter. So that is the approach in which the CEPs are kept. And then what are the conditions for registration? Once I've been given a COP, I have to comply with the bylaws of the RVO. So they will say there should not be conflict of interest if you are doing any valuation exercise. You should not take gifts from your clients. You know, the normal code of conduct, what we have in a CA institute, the same thing is given under IBBI for the bylaws. So if I'm a registered valuer, registered for a class called securities and financial assets, I can conduct only valuation for that particular class, and I cannot do land and building and plant and machinery until I have qualified myself for the other class of asset. And if I, for example, I have registered myself with, say, with another institute, say I'm a member of one particular RVO, and I want to port my membership from that particular RVO to CA Institute, ICAI RVO, then I have to take the permission of the previous RVO and move to ICAI RVO. As a valuer, if I conduct a valuation exercise, I have to maintain the records for at least 3 years, just like your Companies Act says. Here, the records have to be maintained at least for 3 years. We have to comply with the code of conduct, the way we have in CA Institute. The same code of conduct is given by each of the institutes. If you see overall, the code of conduct is almost same. Ethics are same. So the code of conduct has to be fulfilled, what is given by each of the RVO. If I'm practicing as a registered valuer in a partnership firm, only a partner or a director can sign those valuation report. And the responsibility of the partner or a director signing that report is joint and several. So how to conduct valuation is given under Rule 8. Right now, under Companies Act, no, valuation standards have been prescribed so far. So I can either follow the valuation standard accepted internationally. So I can follow internationally, IVS, or I can follow ICAI is also given the valuation standard. I can follow it. Or if ICSA has got a valuation standard, only ICAI, I have to follow ICAI. I follow ICAI valuation standard. So either you follow an internationally accepted valuation standards, or you follow the valuation standard adopted by any registered valuers organization. Just like your accounting standards, there are valuation standards which have to be fulfilled when we are doing a valuation and issuing a valuation report. So for example, if I'm doing a valuation report for a shares of a company, the company has got certain assets like land and building and plant and machinery. I cannot value those assets. So I'm not a competent person to value that asset. So I can engage, or I can ask a company to engage a RV registered valuer practicing under land and building or plant and machinery, take their valuation report and add that report as a part of my report and replace the value of the book value or whatever value of the asset in the balance sheet with the valuation report value, what they have given in their valuation report. So just like using the work of other professionals, we do it in our audit. Similarly, if a valuation report of another class of asset valuer is used, then I have to use that and take it, I have to refer that in my valuation report. Or RV may obtain inputs for valuation report or get a separate valuation. So if I want to get the input for the valuation report from another valuer, I can take it, or I can take a separate valuation report, add that value in my valuation and refer that I have referred the valuation report of so and so. In the valuation report, I have to give the background of the asset being valued. So whether it is a share or securities, whatever it is, I have to mention what is the purpose for which I'm valuing. So whether it is under Companies Act, if so under Section 62 or under 230, whatever is, I have to mention. And who is the appointing authority? I said a valuer can be appointed by the audit committee if a company has got audit committee, or the board of directors. Then I have to identify myself as a valuer. I'm so-and-so valuer practicing in so-and-so class with so-and-so registration. And if I use the report of any other valuer, I have to mention the experts involved in that valuation. The first thing when we talk about a audit or any other profession, if there is any conflict of interest, then I have to disclose that. In fact, if there is a conflict of interest, I should not be doing that valuation exercise. I have to mention the date in which I was appointed as a valuer, what is the valuation date, and what is the date of the report. For example, I am appointed on 31st December as a valuer. I've been asked to do a valuation, say maybe on 15th of January, and that is a cutoff date, and my report could be issued 2 months later. So what valuation date is the date on which the assets is being valued. Date of the report is the date when I'm going to sign the valuation report. What are the kind of inspections or investigation I've done on the assets that is being valued? So have I just gone through the financial statement? Have I seen the plant and machinery? Have I seen the investments in the company? Have I seen the certificate? So what kind of inspection or investigation you have undertaken? What are the nature and sources of information used or relied upon? So for example, if I'm going to use DCF method of valuation, we will just discuss a little later, then I have to say the projections are given by the management, and those projections are tested and or validated by me, and then I've been using that projections what the management has given it to me. So what, or if it's a listed company shares, I will say I've taken the prices as on so and so as per the SEBI guidelines. So what is the nature and source of information which is used or relied on? What are the procedures adopted by me in carrying out the valuation, and which valuation standard I've used? Have I used the ICAI valuation standard, or have I used the international valuation standard? I have to mention that. What are the restrictions on use of the report? Because our report is, if you look at valuation, valuation is always time specific. What is the value of an asset today may not be the same yesterday and may not be the same tomorrow. So what is the purpose for which you have given the valuation report, and who was the audience for that report? If I given a report to the board of directors for issuing of shares under 62, that report cannot be used by somebody else for some other context. So I have to say, what are the restrictions? Or if this report cannot be shared with somebody without my knowledge. So restrictions on the use of the report, if any, has to be mentioned. What are the major factors that were taken into account during the valuation? That has to be informed. Finally, what is the conclusion? What is the business valuation? What is the equity valuation? How many number of shares is being there? Finally, I arrive at the single value of each share. So if my business valuation is 1 crore, my value of borrowings is say 20 lakhs, the valuation for the equity shareholders, there are no preference shares or something, 1 crore is the business valuation, minus 20 lakhs is the value of external liability, 80 lakhs is the value of the equity shares. If there are 1 lakh shares, I will divide by 1 lakh and say 80 or 800 is the value per share. So that is what is the final conclusion. The last but not the least is your caveats, limitations, and disclaimers. So what have you done? What should not be done with this report? I have not done any audit on this. I have just taken the projections away. So the normal caveats, limitation, this is all given in the ICAI valuation standards, and you can look at it even in the international valuation standard. That is a whole and sum and substance of the valuation report. That are the contents of the valuation report. Now, we have talked about the report. What are the laws under which we are eligible to value is given under Rule 9. Currently, under Companies Act, any valuation has to be done by RV. Under IBC, any valuation will be done only by RV. And under SEBI regulations also, under InvIT REITs and all, the valuation can be done. The way we have basically punishments under the other acts for not fulfilling the provisions. Similarly, if a valuer contravenes the provisions of any of the sections, the person will be liable for a punishment of 25,000 rupees, and it may extend up to 1 lakh. If we have done it intentionally to defraud somebody, then the punishment may extend up to imprisonment up to 1 year, and the fine will not be less than 1 lakh, and which may extend up to 5 lakhs. So any the benefit given to us or any profession we have comes with a huge amount of responsibility. the responsibility has to be discharged with, due diligence from our side. In case we fail to exercise any of the due diligence, knowingly, unknowingly, the consequence will follow. And if, a valuer is convicted, of any of these knowing, unknowing intentions, then the fees paid could be, to be refunded, and they may be asked to pay for the damages. So when we look at the rosy side of every transaction, we should know what are the pitfalls of the transaction also. If I don't do my valuation diligently, applying all the principles, and because valuation, I'll talk about it a little later in detail, valuation is very, very relative. No two valuers will arrive at the same value for an asset. I might arrive at a valuation as 20 lakhs, somebody might arrive at the same thing at 40 lakhs, but we have our own premises and assumptions and understanding made in this transaction. So no single percent is right or wrong. That is why under IBC, the law says once the company is into CIRP, you have to appoint two valuers and get the valuation report. If the valuation are too different from each other, there is so much of discrepancy, then the IP will appoint a third valuer and see wherever the valuation is fitting into. See, one person is giving you 1 lakh valuation, the other person is giving 60 lakhs. So the the IP will appoint a third valuer, and if he or she brings up the value of 50 lakhs, then we take average, take the range between 50 to 60 and not 10 lakhs. So that is how no two valuer will arrive at the same kind of valuation, because valuation involves lot of what you call relativity, or the assumptions made, the risk factor being added, what is your expectation of your equity shareholders, all those things are relative calculation. The very simple thing what we do in financial management, cost of equity is what under CAPM method, it is risk-free rate plus beta into market rate minus risk-free rate. That is your risk premium. That itself will vary from valuer to valuer. I use some website for a risk-free rate, you use something, there could be small discrepancies. So no two valuers could arrive at the same kind of valuation for a business for sure. That is what is the challenge. So valuation has to be done very diligently, applying all the principles of valuation as much as possible. So what are the sections under Companies Act which gives an opportunity for valuation? Under section 154(1)(d), if a company has to issue sweat equity shares or an IPR shares, then valuation is required. That valuation can be done by a SFA, Securities and Financial Class Asset Valuer. Again, under 64(1)(c), when you are issuing preferential allotment or for non-cash consideration, then the valuation, in non-cash transaction, say, for example, somebody is giving me a service for which I have to allot shares. So first service has to be valued, then the share has to be valued, then I will arrive at the number of shares and allot it to them. So there are two valuation reports required there. Again, under buyback of shares, valuation is required. If you are into, I said 192, 2 with non-cash transfer of assets, 2 or by the directors to the company, then valuation has to come into play. Section 232 talks about compromise, arrangement and merger. If there are merger of two companies, the swap ratio has to be arrived at. So valuation is required. If there is a cross-border merger between Indian company to a foreign company or a foreign company to Indian company, then also valuation is required. When the company wants to buy the minority shareholding, then also valuation report is required. When the company goes for liquidation or winding up, that time also under section 281, valuation is required. There is a huge gamut of opportunities under Companies Act, under FEMA, under Income Tax Act. Only thing is FEMA and income tax is not under the gamut of RV, but once the valuation bill is passed, which is lying in the parliament, if that valuation bill is passed, the valuer will get the registered valuer will get opportunities to practice under 14 different laws. So all the laws will come into one gamut of valuation, which will fall under registered valuer. So under FEMA, under SAB, under SURFACE, under all the acts, valuation has to be done, will fall under the RV. It is no long, we can see that bill passed very sooner. So we should be, the thing is when something comes in, we should be well equipped to handle the situation. So our initial process of preparing ourselves for the process should start now. If the valuation will get passed in 1 year or 2 years, by the time when the opportunity comes, we are well equipped to grab those opportunities. By the time we can do small valuations assignment here and there and get our knowledge very clear in the grassroots level. So I said under 54(1)(d), under share capital and debenture rules, if a company is planning to issue sweat equity shares to director or employees, then the valuation is required. So valuation of intellectual property will also be done, and valuation of equity shares also to be done. So there are 2 valuation reports in case of issuing under sweat equity or IPR rights. Under 62(1)(c), if there is rights issue, technically there is no valuation required. But if there are renunciation from existing shareholder to somebody, it is better to take a valuation report there. Similarly, if there are any non-cash consideration, then valuation has to be done. If there are preferential allotment done to any shareholder, any investor, then valuation has to be done. Under then ESOP also 62(1)(b), if ESOP is to be done, the valuation has to be done. Because for ESOP, for valuing the perquisite, you have to take a valuation report. One valuation report is valid only for 6 months. So every year, at least there is a requirement of 2 valuation reports when you want to value the perks. Similarly, if we are going to issue shares to existing shareholders disproportionately, then also a valuation report is required. Similarly, if we are going to issue CCPS, then valuation is required. If we are going to issue OCPS, then also valuation is required. CCD, compulsorily convertible debentures, there also valuation report is required. If there is an optionally convertible debentures, also evaluation is required. If you have issued convertible notes to convert it later, also valuation report is required. So that is as far as 62 is concerned. When we go to 230, section 230, which talks about merger amalgamation, we talk about several valuation reports there. I am not detailed into each of the reports, but there's so much of valuation scope. In fact, initially, this was the only section where we had a larger scope for valuation under the Companies Act. Now, slowly, there are other provisions wherein valuations are coming into play. Otherwise, when we spoke about valuation a few decades before, valuation was majorly done only in case of mergers, amalgamation, and things like that. So, as I mentioned, under 234, read with amalgamation rule 225A, if a company is registered in India is to be merged with a registered company outside India or vice versa, valuation report is required. Again, under liquidation, there are a lot of reports to be filed by a liquidator. Valuation report is one such report to be issued. Similarly, even in IBC, as I mentioned, there are CIRP, you have to give valuation report. Under liquidation, you have to give valuation report. So appointment of a registered valuer, I said in CIRP, in Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, when a CIRP process is on, the insolvency professional is within 7 days of his or her appointment as to appoint 2 registered value to determine the liquidation value of the corporate debtor. So when we talk about valuation, I said there are different notions of valuation. If a company is going concern, the valuation will be done in a different way. If the company is in liquidation, the valuation has to be done in a different way, because in liquidation, it is the book value, or that is the exit price we are looking at. When a company is sold for future, if I am getting an investor, my valuation has to be futuristic. So in liquidation, I'm talking about the exit value, which should be at least the net book value of the assets of the company, NAV of the company. So for a going concern, the valuation could be different. For liquidation, the valuation would be different. So no single valuation report will hold good in all the circumstances. So the valuation report for each and every client and for the same client at each and every occasion will vary depending on the circumstance and facts of the situation. So the resolution professional will appoint 2 people. Those the RVs who are appointed should not be a relative of that resolution professional. They should not be related to the corporate debtor who is under insolvency procedure. He or she should not have been an auditor of the corporate debtor for the last 5 years. And he or she should not be a partner or director of a IPE. If a IPE, insolvency professional entity, is conducting that CIRP process, then the valuer cannot be a director or a partner of that IPE. Why? Valuation is an independent activity. No person, the way we talk about a statutory auditor has to be independent. Similarly, a valuer has to be an independent person so that she does not bring her bias and does not bring in her, the preconceived notion while doing a valuation. Valuation has to be done as an independent activity, looking at the facts and circumstances of the case, and there are a lot of assumptions and bases to be made. Those have to be explained. So tomorrow, if any regulatory authority calls us to justify our report, in fact, in one Supreme Court decision, the judge clearly said, valuation report provided by a valuer is an independent report. No, you cannot challenge that report. But at the same time, if we have not taken care of the valuation standard, if we have not taken the assumptions correctly, then it's a different scenario. Everybody will question our valuation report, because the real challenge is when there is a problem in an amalgamation, when there is a problem in CIRP, or when there is a problem in in a family dispute, problem will be something else. They might have ego classes, they might have many other things, but it will all start with the valuation report, and every line, every comma, full stop of the valuation report will be questioned by each and every party, the one who supports the report or one who opposes the report. So that is where the challenge comes for a valuation professional. So if we are able to justify and explain the rationale for the report what we have made, then it is nothing like it. That is what is required. End of a day, a valuer has to give a report which justifies each and every aspect of business with the valuation thing, with the assumptions and presumptions made while doing the valuation, and arriving at the final dotted line of valuation to say, this is the valuation of the business, or this is the valuation of the shares of the company, and so on and so forth. So this is valuation. So today, RV is restricted to Companies Act, IBC, and SEBI. But there are more valuations required. When you become an RV, your work as a chartered accountant, your work as a cost accountant, or your work as a merchant banker becomes much more good while doing valuation under Income Tax Act, while doing valuation under FEMA, or as I mentioned, even while doing an audit of a bank, or people where you have to look at the valuation report. Because today when the valuation report comes, people just keep it as a, even as a banker, you understand the valuation. Once you start understanding the valuation report, your decision making becomes far more intelligent and far more rational and self-explanatory. So under Income Tax Act, valuation of shares is required by a merchant banker or under 56(2)(7)(b) when a company issues fresh shares. Or when a share of a unquoted company is sold between two transferors, the valuation report is not required, but the value has to be arrived. So that is done under 50CA. Similarly, if there is a transfer of a financial asset or any asset for that matter between two parties without any consideration, then the section 56(2)(10), a stringent section which says that differential consideration or the consideration not paid will be taxed in the hands of the so-called transferee, that is the recipient. Say, for example, I have an asset. I transfer it to my friend with no consideration. The intrinsic value of asset is, say, 10 lakh rupees. I have transferred it to my friend, but I have not taken any consideration. Between relatives, it's, again, I can call it as gift. I give it to an unrelative, to a friend. Then in that case, for me, that 10 lakhs, whatever is the capital gains, has to be taxed in my hand. I have not got any consideration. Similarly, the asset worth 10 lakhs is gone in the hands of my friend without any consideration. That 10 lakhs will be considered as income from other sources in the hands of my friend, which is to be taxed under 56(2)(10) as a income from other sources. In such case also, valuation is to be required, so that when income tax asks, I'm able to justify what is the value I've offered in my taxation for that matter. Similarly, when there is a sale of shares of an Indian company by a foreign company, then also valuation report is required under 9.1. You have to do it. Now we have spoken about where it is required, why it is required, how it is required. Let's come to the ground reality. Today, in a population of so many billion, 1 odd billion, there are only 5,519 members of registered valuers for all classes of assets. When I talk about 5519, it's under SFA, it's under plant and machinery and land and building. If you look at SFA, Securities and Financial Assets Valuer, there are only 2,184. I have picked this data from IBBI website as on 29th of February 24. There are only 15 registered valuers association, like I mentioned. CA Institute has got one, CMA has got one, ICSA has got, PVA is there, IOB, and there are a lot many. The entities which are registered valuer entity, which is a LLP or a corporate, there are 109 entities as on today. The requirement of valuation is going to increase over a period of time because we are working in a startup environment. The government of India is giving trust for startups, so they are raising funds. You all must be seeing Shark Tank, how many companies are coming. The startup industry as such is at a booming stage, and India is definitely in the nascent stage, and we are yet to see many activities. The startups are giving ESOP to their employees, so there are a lot of scope for activities there. Plus, there are a lot of scope for corporate activities, which is happening, restructuring, mergers and amalgamation and things like that. And there's a lot of cross-border transaction, FDI, ODI transactions happening where valuation is required. As I mentioned, if not you want to do any of these activity, this knowledge of valuation will help you in your regular practice, whether in your audit, consultancy, or any other profession. You become a stronger professional. And as I mentioned, there are multiple reports given for the same transaction today. Under FEMA, a valuation report is taken. Under a Companies Act, a valuation report is taken from RV, and maybe income tax taken from merchant banker. So there are, for the same transaction, there are multiple reports taken there. When they all merge after the valuation bill, everything will be done by the scope of registered valuer. As I mentioned, different legislations provide, again, different legislations provide for different methods of valuation. For example, if there is a transfer of share, if there is an FDI or ODI, I can do valuation on net assets value, NAV method. If I'm going to bring in an investor for startup, I might do valuation on a DCF method. So different situation. When I'm in a liquidation, again, I look at the least value, which is the liquidation value, which is your book value we are looking at. So what is the future of this profession post-valuer bill? Today also there is so much scope. The demand is more, the supply is less. And under 14 different acts, the valuation is going to be done by the registered valuer. Longer duration. Another point is today with 50 hours of training and giving an exam and with a negative marking with 60% pass, 60% pass mark, plus another 4 hours of post-qualification training, I'm able to become a valuer. Now, after the valuation bill is passed, the entry into this profession is going to be longer than what we are talking about. This 50 hours could become 400 hours. The entire profession is going to be institutionalized in form of, National Institute for Valuation. I said there are 14 acts which are going to be merged to have one valuation report. That is Banking Regulation Act, Securities Contract Act, Wealth Tax Act, Income Tax Act, SEBI, IRDA, FEMA, SARFAESI, PMLA, LLP, Companies Act, PFRDA, Black Money Act, in IBC, and any other law they may be prescribing. So there could be, it doesn't stop with 14, the list could be more than that. So that means the scope for practice in this particular area of practice is far more. The post the valuers bill, this will be the ecosystem for the valuation. So there'll be a National Institute of Valuers which will be set up. They will conduct the test. People will pass out. Then they will be with the other valuers. There'll be evaluation institutes, and the valuation professional organization will frontline the regulator side. So today, I'm a member of a RVO. I'm regulated by them, and they are in turn regulated by IBBI, which is the ultimate regulatory authority. So this is what globally you see the trend. When the profession starts, they first wants to develop the profession. So you have your profession being taken care. So that means when ICAI was set up, that was set up to have chartered accountants and take care of them. As the market mature, as the industry becomes more and more mature, they want to protect the service receiver of that profession. So that is why we see NEFRA, we see other authorities in different parts of the world regulating the profession. So similarly, now the profession itself will not regulate the professional. The profession will give entry point to the students. They qualify, come out, they become a member of that. But their regulation will happen through a regulatory authority, which will be different from the mother institute, where that's what is happening today in NEFRA, right? The listed companies, CAs are regulated. When NEFRA comes in, all other institutes go out of the circumstance for regulation. So this is how it is going to be. The more and more time we take to take this qualification, I will tell you, the examinations are becoming tougher and tougher. That's what people say. At least, when I gave, somehow I could manage in the first attempt. But there are people who have been saying it's difficult. But if you have your meticulous preparation and go through the details and try your sample papers, if you're confident, clearing that exam in the first attempt is no difficult task. If we miss out, instead of 50 hours, it will become 400 hours. The course curriculum will change and things will become, because now the National Institute of Valuers is talking about people coming out of +2, they will go 5-year course or 4-year course, or people who are graduates have got different programs. So it is trying to be implemented as a regulated profession altogether. The question is, I said valuation is an important profession, not only for women, it's for everybody, even for men to embrace. The question, because the demand is more, the supply is less, or the quality professionals is less. Why it is suitable for women? I would just, because we are talking in the International Women's Day Forum, we are here to, promote each other, help for the ultimate growth of our women fraternity. Whatever said and done, equality, we are empowered. The path for success is not same for a man and a woman. I would say I'm the most empowered woman, but the path which is there for my husband is different from the path I have for myself, whether it is a self-limited path or something, but we have our limitations because we have priorities at different point in time in a different way. In that given limitations, how do we maximize our potential? So today there are hardly 8 to 20%. I didn't get the exact statistics now. 2 years ago, I could get the statistics of there are only 8 to 10% women on this profession. Other thing is, the moment you do this exam, you might qualify for the other global, valuation exam. You could do tie up with global organization and do valuation for other valuation outside this country. So you can do a cross-border valuation. You can have network there and do it. Sitting in any part of the world, you can do a valuation assignment. If you are doing it as a partnership firm or a registered valuer entity. For women, I don't have to commute to do the valuation. I go do the meeting, get the basic data. I'm sitting at the comfort of my home. I'll be able to do my valuation. Sitting at home, I can have a tie-up with registered valuer entity and they do all the running around work. I do only valuation sitting at the comfort of my home. Other advantages, along with my practice, regular practice, I can do valuation. Unlike other profession where I have to give the full time for that. The other last word is this valuation, as I said, it involves a lot of judgment, assumptions to be made. I always feel sorry to the men here. We will be able to do it better. Not that they can do it, but I'm saying a seventh, a sense will help us to get the valuation done in the right fashion. What is the uniqueness of this profession? Valuation is not exactly an art. Valuation is not exactly a science. It involves a balance of both. There is no one accurate valuation. The valuation can be different, arrived by different people accordingly. There's a lot of professional judgment of the valuer is very crucial for this assignment. The professional skepticism, what we do for audit, will help us in doing a valuation understanding better. Understanding the valuation standard, IVS and ICAI valuation standard is very important. The report has to contain what it has to contain. I have to understand the model code of conduct the way we do for our CA profession. We are regulated by IBBA, so we should be ready for your peer review. You should be ready to answer the questions which comes from your RBO and IBBI. The end of the day, the valuation report is as good as the assumptions we have made in the valuation. So how much good assumptions have been done, how much we have tested, all those things determine the process of and the end product of valuation, which is the valuation for a company or for the equity shares or whatever we are trying to value. When we do valuation, I said there are different methods through which we do a valuation. There are 3 different approaches to valuation. One is cost approach. So if the company is in liquidation, I may do an NAV. Or if I have to if I have to value an asset, I can look at the replacement value, which is a cost approach. I can value the asset. If I'm going to do for a startup which has got a market comparison, then I can do a market multiples method, price multiple methods, or something. Generally, we say in even in our auditing, right? If you have a third party evidence that is more trustworthy. So in a market approach, I have a comparable in the market. I value my thing according to the market approach for that. So for example, my competitor has sold twice their EBITDA, their company. My EBITDA could be different, but I will use the twice the multiple of my EBITDA and sales. So it becomes a relative valuation can be done. If I can't use cost approach, if I can't do market approach, then what is left to me is an earnings approach where we use mostly discounted cash flow method. What is discounted cash flow method? You arrive at the cash flow of the company. So from your P&L, you get the cash flow. Then you do the working capital adjustment. Then you do cash flows from investing activity. Then you get the cash flow from financing activity, except for whatever you're valuing. Discount that to the cost of capital, which is what we have learned in financial management, either to WACC. When you discount it to WACC, you get the value of the business. If you discount it to cost of equity, you get the value of the equity. Discount in a DCF method, generally we ask 6 to 8 years of projections from the company. Discount the cash flows for 8 years to the cost of capital or WACC, depending on the circumstance. Then I get the terminal cash flow, discount that also to the cost of capital or cost of equity, whatever is the appropriate situation. Then I arrive at the value of the company. If it is value of the company, I minus the third party external liability, arrive at the value of for the equity shareholders, divide by number of shares, I get the value per share. It's a very, very interesting subject. As I mentioned, it is just not for valuation. Valuation helps me, empowers me in many activities I do as a professional, as a person educating, as a person auditing, as a person advising startup, as a person advising maybe companies into liquidation or coming for other management information. So if you want more information, you can go to https in ibbi.gov.in. You will get both IB and RV. You can look at RV. If you want to look at the RVO, Registered Valuers Organization, you can go to ICAI RVO and look for information. But I would tell you, it's a very satisfactory career. It gives you a lot of understanding of the subject, which gives you joy. Every assignment, I learn something new. And there are inconsistencies in the law. Income tax says something, Companies Act says something, something else says something. How am I going to balance those activities? I discuss with a lot of my fellow professionals, and then we come to a conclusion. The process is very enriching, very interesting, and it gives you the joy of doing something great. With these words, I would be happy to hand over the stage to Poonam and open for any questions from the participants. And I sincerely thank Navi Mumbai branch and Kalyan Dombivli branch for giving me this opportunity, and the entire branch and committee members and RCM Sanjay sir and every coordinator here to give me an opportunity to present it in front of you. Thank you so much. Poonam, you are on mute.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful presentation with such a clarity that a person who is not from this background understood in in such a short period of time. You have given such a really great clarity about the subject and who can become and how to become. There are a few attendees who are in panelist. I request them to, you can on your video and discuss with ma'am, ask your queries, because as more the discussions, more beneficial session will be for our attendees. And other attendees also, I'm promoting you to the panelist. Whoever is interested, please. Shaba ma'am, Namita ji, Chandni, everybody, please ask your
So,
queries.
ma'am, I had a query. The qualification for appearing for this exam, you said as a CA, we need to have 3 years of experience.
Yeah.
Does the 3 years of experience is practicing experience or
even employment would do? Only I forgot to mention, when you are giving an exam, you can be in employment, but to have practice, to practice as an RV, you should not be in full-time employment. So the qualification of 3 years is even your employment qualification will be considered for sure.
okay?
Any other question? Anybody is already practicing in this area here?
Namita ji, you have any question? Yeah, Durga is up.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening, Rama ma'am.
Good evening.
It was nice. Yeah, it was so nice hearing you, and you reminded me the 50 hours training I took from Mr. Ram Mohan Bhave in 2021 for the same course, but I could not clear it. I attended for 3 times, and I got 53 marks, then 57 marks, and one I got 48 marks. Then I dropped the idea of becoming a registered valuer, to be honest with you. Then I started more focusing on stock market analysis rather to clear this exam. But it's so nice. It was really wonderful listening to you, and it was a very nice session. I was listening throughout the this 1.5 hours, and it was really, really good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would say, Durga, I will give you offhand where to take the how to take the preparation. You attend now, you will clear it. I told you, no? Even I was not confident. After the 50 hours of training, I could not have got even 4-5 marks. Post that,
Ma'am,
how to prepare.
ma'am, I did coaching 3 times, and I was so confident. The answers are so similar. I tell you,
Yes,
the
yes.
4 options you got every time. Like, there is no tukka baji. You cannot guess the
Yes.
question. You
In
have
fact,
to
you
be
should
very.
not answer a question where you are not pretty sure about the answer, because it is like your
Yes.
JEE exam, negative marking is going to drag you, that's the problem.
That's killing you, because getting a 57 marks and not clearing the exam, getting 53.5, not clearing the exam.
Yeah.
Then it was like, yeah, Durga, leave it. Please leave it. It's not
No,
for
you
you.
will
I
not
think
leave it. We'll take it offline and you will ensure that you clear it. Yeah.
I'll be in touch with you, ma'am, for sure. But it's so nice listening to you. Thank you so much.
Nileji is practicing in this area. Probably he can share his experience.
So actually, I during COVID, so अप्रैल निकल गया, मई निकल गया, जून निकल गया. So अभी उसके बाद में घर पे कैसे बैठे? तो the moment though there was lockdown, but we started going. They were allowing us, and my house and offices are very near. So I started my office, and it was just to open all the computers, and half of the computers were given to the team, 7-8 people, so that they can do the work on any desk. That time there was no server system, VPN, and all those things. So I used to sit from morning to evening just to help the others using the computer. तो अब बैठे बैठे करना क्या है? So I called my good friend Harshal कि यार ये इंसॉल्वेंसी कैसे करते हैं. So he told me कि okay, you log into IBBI website. So when I knew Harshal was a valuer, but I thought I can go for valuation in insolvency because it requires 10 years experience. So I joined there, I logged in there, then उसमें दिखा, so we were searching कि कौन सा course पहले है. So valuation, so there were online classes that time.
Yeah.
So luckily within next 2-3 days there was a session for that 50 hours training. So 6 days का session था and valuation का course का 50 hours का ये था. So he said अभी ये भी कर लो करके. So I applied it and मैंने वो 1 week का पूरा मैंने session complete किया and all those things. But to my bad, Navi Mumbai did not have that center NISM center open. So in June or July, I completed the training, but could not give the exams. Or for the slot in the Andheri center, it was very limited. So I could not get. So I think my first attempt was in the month of August or something, August end or something. So my first attempt I got 58. So for 2 marks, and Harshal told me कि sir आप immediately next attempt apply कर दो and you will be able to succeed. So I said okay, let us see. So फिर से एक बार apply किया, so now I got only 48. So ऐसे plus minus, then I myself realized कि ऐसा नहीं चलने वाला है. So I have to prepare. So then I took some online coaching, and luckily over a period of time there was no our professional work was also down. I was not having any other work, so I was concentrating on the exams only. What I realized is now when we were there as a CA while studying, we had our only study material or something like that. But here in this, if you have a subject related issue, so you will have YouTube, or if you have certain questions on the reference module, so if you put it on Google, you will get the whole answer.
Correct.
Then there are lots of notes which is from ICAI, ICWI and other institutes. So there are a lot of practice material which I went through, and ultimately in my 4th attempt I completed it. And how I completed or whether I was confident of completing in that attempt, I cannot tell you, but I completed with 60.5% and had the same feeling which I had when I completed my CA. So it was like I passed out in 2002, and after that I didn't give any exam, any competitive or any professional, and in 2020 I gave my. So for me, I think 4 number is lucky. 2002 I was having 2002, that was 4, and 20204. So I think I passed because of that.
In fact, to add to what you are saying, now that even after 50 hours of training, I was absolutely, in fact, confidence nahi hai, low feeling था कि exam कैसे pass होगा, that was the feeling. I can proudly say, one of my friends said, you take the YouTube video of one Mr. CA Tarun Mahajan, and I would really thank him for whatever knowledge I've gained today on financial management. With open thanks to him, I listened to his classes. I did all the MCQs. I can proudly say CA, I didn't clear it in first attempt, but I could clear my RB in first attempt. That too was 66 marks. Post that, I did my IP, which was almost 30-40% same syllabus. So my point is, if you have the right kind of resources available with you, it is very easy. Anuprita is asking, are there only MCQs asked in the exam? Absolutely only MCQs. But the challenge is, those are case studies and things like that. It is very, we have to know exactly the answer. In fact, anybody who wants to attempt can reach me out. I've downloaded a lot of materials available with me. I can share it with you for your preparation, provided the syllabus is same. And most of them are same, yeah.
And if any of them want to have a workshop, I don't know whether as per the guidelines or institute, whether it is allowed or not, but off the line also, we can have a workshop kind of thing of for
Yes.
all these things. It is on their personal choice with Rama madam and some other faculties. We can call it in one of the classrooms and get it done.
The advantage, what we say, RV is not an extension of CA. It's a separate degree as such. It's a separate qualification. So that gives the advantage to us. I think Durga has raised her hand. She has got some question.
Yeah, ma'am, I would like to add one more thing that's very important, especially in RVO exams, and that is more than preparation. Once you're prepared and failing the attempts, you need a motivation lectures more.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're
I say,
self-motivated,
in
yes, you
fact,
can do it.
our people
That's
said
more
in our
important.
batch, you book morning batch, afternoon batch, next day batch. Some questions used to repeat. Now IBBA has become very smart. They have put a cooling period of 2 months. Now they have reduced it to 21 days. So you will not get the chance of getting the same questions.
Yes,
So,
ma'am, and focus is very important. Like I am blessed with two boys, 8 years and 5 years, and that time my younger one was 1.5 years. So it was so difficult to concentrate on the subject. And after failing for 3 times, I was like, leave it, please.
no, I could do it because my son was preparing for his 12th in engineering. I said, I will motivate you by studying. So we both did together success. I always say as a woman, you find challenges. You have to find ways to come out of it. So I said, let me study. You take me as a motivation at 40 plus. I'm studying. You also sit and study with me. And that's how jointly we could do that exercise.
So true. Superb, ma'am. Super. You are really an inspiration to all of us. I would say that. Thank you.
All of you are actually. Yes. Thank you.
Namita ji, you want to say something?
Hello, good evening, ma'am, and good evening, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for taking us such a wonderful lecture. And
My
thank you for Navi Mumbai Branch and especially for Puram madam for organize this Women's Day week. And thank you, our chairman Dinesh sir. Thanks all the participants and my friends. Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, this lecture is, I think, this Women's Day celebration is especially for me. I think that because now I have a 3 month baby, and now I am attending that,
Wonderful.
and uh, I think this is required especially for me. So the our Navi Mumbai branch is organized that. I really appreciate for that, and also have one baby of 7 years, and I am attended your lecture but not full. I heard whenever I got time in between 2 hours, because in between baby is crying and everything. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you our team for organizing this lecture. Thank
Namita
you,
ji,
ma'am.
I will tell you that what COVID has made us learn. Like I said, when COVID struck and after 3 months we wanted to start, we were totally clueless how our offices will work. And slowly and steadily, we are like in my office, I have a system where we can do work from anywhere, and we have various technologies available where from anywhere you can access the server of my like for in my office for my PC, my server, and then we can have the same feeling of working as if we are working at our own office. So and it has changed a lot. Earlier we used to send everything on email, and all those things were junking spamming our emails. Many things have changed. Like currently I have my team, some of them are working in Khargar. Even I have 2 3 employees who are working in Parbhani and in Nagpur. So there are a lot of issues with regard to infrastructure, in with regard to team, because of GST and other things. Lot of resources are required. And currently, earlier our team used to go to client's place and do audits and everything, but nowadays now clients are also getting used ki bhai sir aap apke office mein hi kar lo. So we have developed this work from anywhere, work from home. Actually the word is work from home, but it is called we can call it work from anywhere. And plus WIRC also is promoting such things. They are making a list of members who are going through this phase of their life, and they have gaps and they cannot leave their home but still want to work. And I have a employee of mine in Nagpur. She is also having a baby of 1 year, and she handles almost 120 GST returns alone and complete it as per her own convenience. Deadline is okay, 20th is the deadline. She also realizes that responsibility, but she manages, she works anytime in the day because everything is online. So we should face this challenge with positivity, and don't worry, there are people to support all these kinds of scenarios. The point is that you should first not leave the enthusiasm of being a CA. And definitely your child, we bless him, and we all your family members, that they should be having good health and all these things. But when you are a CA, you are a CA, you should be positive about it.
Sir, I would add to here, actually, I am from South. So maybe for people who are here, I took up my first job in Ludhiana. I worked there. I came back to Chennai. I got married, came to Bombay, took up an employment. 3 years into employment, I moved into a private equity firm in in Nariman Point. Today, some people ask, how could you leave that job? But my husband got posted out. I just mentioned in the last seminar. I moved with him. 6 months, my son was 3 years old. I settled him. I took a flexi employment. I came back to India. Then I started again on a flexi time employment because there's no support system. My son is growing, and then I took up my practice. We started our practice 5 years ago. We didn't know who's going to be a client or anything. My partner, who is another dynamic lady, Ritu Das Chaudhary, she said, I'm going to start practice. I came into practice, and today there is no looking back. In the sense, what I'm trying to say, we have challenges, but we should not let go of our professional, the prideness in which what we do. Today, we are a team of about 18 or 20 people, as you mentioned. One of my employee works from Delhi, one from Bangalore, one from this one. I don't have to tell anybody. It's almost, I have hardly for tokenism one boy at some point in time, but otherwise it's all women firm. Not that we want, but that's how it is. So only thing, we have to keep it in ourselves that we have to do it. If we have that inclination, things will fall in place. As Shah Rukh Khan says, Pura Kainat will ensure that we achieve what we want to achieve. That willingness has to be there in us. That's it. So thank you so much. Not that I'm inspiring or something. I'm saying I have undergone certain difficulties, but I have molded myself in whatever is available. Not that somebody forced anything on me. Whatever is available, in that you have to do the best use of the resources available. That's how it is.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for motivating me. Ma'am, actually, I am also enthusiasm to learn and also searching opportunities to work from home. That's why I am also attending the lecture, and that's not the responsibility or so for searching, but I have an interest.
Yes.
When I left the job before 5 months, I think, what you are doing, Namita? Why you are left the job and planning for family and everything? I become nervous. But when baby become 2-3 months, then I realize I have to do work from work. There are many facilities are available. Why were worried about that? So thank you, sir and madam, for motivating me and support given.
Thank you.
Where one thing I want to mention, that Namita cleared CA after her first baby. She studied with her baby, and in COVID time, she got time to prepare for her CAs and cleared after that. We were chatting yesterday only. And Namita, here we have other people. You can contact with Rama ma'am, Nilesh sir, and other seniors, and they will definitely guide you and help you.
Hats off to her. Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
One participant raised hand. Yes, you can speak. You are into panelist.
She is not in panelist.
She is not. Just a minute. I'm
Let me
promoting.
see if I can promote her. No, I don't see her. Only to promote. Okay. Yeah, I have allowed her to talk. You can speak. Yeah. Shagufta ji, you can speak. She will take 1 minute to log in. It will log off and then log in. Just give her a minute to come.
Yeah.
I've promoted her to panelist actually.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm Shagufta Merchant. I'm a proud chartered accountant and cost accountant and company secretary.
My God.
Sir, actually, I'm working for the Nahar Group presently, and I did my 50 hours of valuation training, but of course, I have not appeared for the exam yet. Once I appeared, but I could not clear it, and then I didn't get a time to study. It's all motivating, and ma'am's lecture was really very clear, very nice.
You can try,
After
ma'am.
hearing
Immediately
her,
back
I
to back.
want to appear for the exam.
Yeah, please appear, please appear. You have done 50 hours of
Yes.
hard work and preparation. All you need is another 10-15% to cross. You will be able to definitely repeat it. Yeah.
Yes. Ma'am, my foot is amputated. I fell from the train and met with an accident. But by grace of God, our education helped us to overcome all our shortcomings.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The-
Education is
even
so
I-
important to each one of us,
Yes. Just wanted to motivate everyone. Okay, we can do it.
Camera. Shagufta ji, if you are comfortable, you can switch on your camera.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
So nice,
nice
of
to
you.
hear.
So nice of you. Whenever we find time, we'll definitely come and catch up with you. It was really motivating, and it appears that you are a very senior chartered accountant, and
Yes.
also with such a high degree qualification. And I only can pray and see. Sometimes I feel that in life there should be some kind of target. So I'll tell you, I have come with a background of very small articleship firm, and it was just a basic income tax filing and all those things. And over a period of time, every 4-5 years, I get loose. I feel that okay, now I'm done with all these things. Now what next? And then slowly service tax came, so I started enjoying service tax. 4-5 years after that, then VAT came, then Companies Act changed, something like, then GST came. So every time there needs to be something new, and now valuation, it is something new. So I am giving myself time that so everyone should have some motivation in life. Without motivation or targets, it will be impossible for them to get something. You are already at such a high post and already achieved so much in your life, but still you are aiming for valuation. It in itself is showing that how much you should be an inspiration for everyone, particularly Durga. So Durga ji, आप भी बन सकते हो, मैडम को आप देख लो. Or actually 3 attempt is okay.
I'm hearing, yes, I'm listening to her only. It's really,
Yes.
ma'am, hats off to you. Really an inspiration. Now I have got 2 inspirations to clear my exams, actually. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Nice talking to you.
Same here, sir. Same here. Thank you.
पूनम जी, अभी और कुछ?
Any other member wants to ask anything, share feedback? I think nobody has any query. As there is no other query from any other members, we are going forward for the formal vote of thanks. And ma'am, it's really very wonderful listening to you, and every time you have always available for the branch. This is the certificate we are presenting to you for today's webinar. Please accept it.
Thank you so much.
From Navi Mumbai.
Thank you.
So I would like to say, madam, you are one of the persons whom I can designate this my term Antavriddhi. See, in my whole concept, it is not about the development in commercial terms. It is development for inner peace. And seeing you, we feel that you are so satisfied in your life. Yes, there may be some challenges. No one is complete, but seeing you, you will never feel alone. So you are one of the role models of Antavriddhi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
So thank you everyone for participating, and it is so encouraging that you are taking interest in the branch activities. Give your suggestions, be open. You can, I'm just one call away. Whosoever wants to explore their talent and wants to do something for the fraternity, for either being a speaker or giving some articles, write-ups and all those things, going through the branch activities, taking part in the branch activities, planning, etc. You are most welcome. We need all such kind of volunteers. Poonam also would second me in this. It is not one man's job, and if Poonam cannot work alone, I cannot work alone. We need to be a team. So thank you, Ramaji, for accepting our invitation for such a wonderful presentation, and definitely give your ideas. We will definitely implement. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And sir,
Bye.
one request. Hello.
Yeah, tell.
I think Poonam dropped off.
Maybe.
Yeah, she's just coming in. Yeah.
Sorry, I think I lost the connection. So I'm saying like we can have these virtual sessions also, although these are not CP session, but lot of females who are not able to come in offline sessions, they are joining from home due to some and another reason. So in that way we
Always
connect.
welcome. No need to ask anything. And what I have seen is WIRC and even ICAI have started virtual session with and terming it as unstructured CP. So whatever formalities has to be done, we will do it at our branch level. It should be for the people, for the fraternity and by the fraternity. So I don't think there should be any need of any permission. It is good that you have taken this initiative and continue it.
Maybe one request we can put it to Institute and WRC as I speak, I think. For at least women's forum, they should give unstructured as structured so that, people who cannot come out of the comfort can still attend and they can ensure. Because now IBBA says switch on the camera and sit in front of you. They can possibly ask for something. And maybe this is a suggestion can go from branch to WRC and ICAI. Maybe for women's sessions, possibly they can give such kind of structured credit with the video on and the audio on, possibly.
Sure, madam. We'll definitely take this up.
Is facing issues in completing her CP with a 3-month-old baby.
Yeah.
So
because IBBA is allowing now for CPEs, but they ensure the cameras are on so that you are in front of the system to show that you are attending. Maybe something of that kind can be requested. Yeah.
Sure, madam. We'll definitely forward your suggestion and we'll take it up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Poonamji. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bhagwat.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bhagwat and Manojji.
Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, our Vikasa chairman, Vishal, who has arranged for this Zoom meeting and all those things.
Thank you so much, Vishalji.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.